Negative 2 students. Today we are going to practice finding the equation of a quadratic, either given a graph, given a table, or given the vertex and a point. Okay, so as a reminder, the vertex form of a quadratic is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, and remember that your h and your k come from your vertex. Okay, so if we look at number 1, okay, we can very easily find our vertex. Our vertex is right here, so it's negative 2 comma negative 6. And when we go and put that into our equation here, we have y equals a times x, and then it's minus negative 2, which is plus 2. Remember, you switch the sign of your x and keep the sign of your y. Okay? Now, the problem here is we don't know our value of a. Okay? So, in order to find a, what we have to do is we have to pick another point on the quadratic that is not the vertex and plug it in for x and y. So, to reiterate, you plug your vertex in for h and k, you plug your point in for x and y, and then that's going to allow you to solve for a. So, if we look closely at this graph, you want to find a good point, all right? So, don't pick something weird like this where it's not on like a corner. This one right here would be really good, 0, negative 4. Okay, so that's going to be the point that we're going to plug in. That's my x, that's my y. So, for y, I'm going to plug in a negative 4. I don't know what my a is, that's what we're trying to find. I'm going to plug in a 0 for my x. And as of now, this is what I've got. Now, what I recommend you do, this guy right here is going to become your coefficient on your a. So you're going to grab your calculator and plug that in. So you're going to do 0 plus 2. Oops, delete. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Clear. All right, 0 plus 2, close parentheses, and then we're going to square it. All right. So that 4 is going to become my coefficient on my a value. So I have negative 4 equals 4a minus 6. All right. And now it's just solving a simple equation, right? We're going to add 6 to both sides, and I get 2 equals 4a. All right. And then we can go ahead and finish solving for a. We divide by 4, and we get that our a value is 2 over 4, which simplifies to 1/2. All right. So when we write our final answer here, we have to make sure that we've plugged in for a, h, and k. So we're going to do y equals 1/2. That's our a value. And then we're going to go ahead. We've got x, and then our vertex is going to be plus 2 squared minus 6. And this would be our answer here. All right, so there's a lot of steps. Again, you use your vertex, a point, plug that in, and solve for a. So let's try another one, okay? Let's take a look at something like this. Now, here, we don't have a nice graph, right? So we can't use a graph to find our vertex. But we talked about how the vertex is going to be like smack dab in the middle of this symmetry here, okay? So we can see that our vertex here is negative 4 comma 6. So we can go ahead and plug that in. So remember, we're going to use y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And we're going to plug in our h and k. So we've got y equals a, x plus 4, because remember you switch the sign of your x and keep the sign of your y. Now, let's pick another point to plug in, okay? These ones, just pick one out here. So why don't we do, we'll just do this, negative 7 and 4.2. So I'm going to plug in negative 7 for x and 4.2 for y. You could have picked any of these points. I just picked the first one here. So I replace my y with a 4.2. I replace my x with a negative 7. If you recall, and this is the part everyone's going to get confused, do not plug this entire thing into your calculator. You're only going to plug this part in, and that becomes the coefficient on a. So we're going to do negative 7 plus 4, close parentheses, squared. So my coefficient's 9. So I've got 4.2 equals 9a plus 6. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out what my a value is. minus 6, minus 6. I do 4.2 minus 6, and I get negative 1.8 equals 9a. I divide by 9. And I get negative 0.2. Click math, enter, enter, and it'll turn it into a nice fraction for you. So we end up with a is equal to negative 1/5. So now in my final answer, remember I have to plug in for my a, my h, and my k. Your final answer should have an x and a y in it. So we're going to do y equals, and then my a value is negative 1/5. A, and then let's see, it's going to be a plus, or not a, oh my goodness, x. Plus 4 squared plus 6, and that would be my answer there. All right, let's do one more. Take a look at this guy here. So it says, write the equation of the quadratic function given the vertex and a point which lies on the function. So again, they gave us our vertex, that's going to be our h and k. And we've got a point, we're going to plug that in for x and y. All right, so we've got our h, our k, our x, and our y. So now here, this one does say like f of x. Remember, f of x is same thing as y for right now. All right, so we can go ahead and plug everything in. So first we'll plug in our vertex. So we would get x plus 5 squared minus 7. And then we'll go ahead and plug in our x and y, which is going to be negative 331 equals a times, and we've got 4 plus 5 squared minus 7. This guy becomes my coefficient on here. So 4 plus 5, and don't forget your parentheses, that's very important. We get an 81, so we've got negative 331 equals 81a minus 7. Now we got to solve for a. We're going to add 7 to both sides. So negative 331 plus 7. Oh, that's not correct. Delete. Plus 7. That's going to give me a negative 324 equals 81a. I'm going to divide by 81. And I get that a is equal to negative 4. So my final answer, I got to plug in to this. And remember, you plug in here, here, and here. Sorry, my handwriting got really bad there. Holy smokes. So we're going to plug in an a value of negative 4. And then my vertex, I'm going to have to do a positive 5 here because it's a negative 5, and then a minus 7. And that would be my answer.